objects or whatever the case may be. So, looking at this background, is it a surprise that people might feel that this story, people should look into it? Is there a possibility of palliatives, even the current palliatives the federal government intends to share out? Is there a possibility, or is there, let me rephrase the question, is there hope that this time around politicians will do the right thing?
There are politicians that have been doing the right thing, even during COVID-19 in 2020.
What's the percentage?
The percentage has always been high.
Interesting.
Yes, it has always been high.
By your own margin?
Not just my margin.
What indices did you use in arriving at that?
Good. Because out of 36 states in the country, if 4 states are complaining that COVID-19 palliatives was hoarded in their states, and 32 states are commending their government for distributing COVID-19 palliative judiciously.
States did not commend.
You're
speaking hypothetically.
No, over 30 states commended.
Hypothetically.
Like in River State, they commended the governor.
Hypothetically.
No.
You're speaking of River State.
No.
And somehow you always come back to River State. So let's just leave River State. Can we just leave River State for now?
Do you know why sometimes I come to River State?
And talk about, because you're resident.
Not just that I'm resident in River State.
You are from River State.
Not just that I'm from River State. But River State itself has been, over time, showing exemplary leadership.
Okay, let's move away from that.
Good. So in the case of Osun today, if Khan has not come out to say rice sent to Osun has been hoarded by the government of the PDP in power,
yes,
then the public should know that what the APC,
yes, it's an allegation.
Yes. Now, what the APC is doing now is politics, and that politics they are doing, to me, is a dirty politics.
Okay. Moving away from that, I asked, now in view of the palliatives the federal government intends to share out, do not forget that earlier last week the government gave out 42,000 metric tons of grains.
Yes.
Right. Now, is there hope that Nigerians who really need this will actually get them?
Definitely.
There is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope.
Let's bank on your hope.
No, there is hope.
Let's bank on your hope.
Because
we are in the renewed hope agenda.
What you should know is, if before, higher percentage were judicious in distributing the palliative that was brought, know that there might have been, I know that there is improvement.
Okay.
Because what we have now is a new set of governors in different states.
New sets of governors.
Yes. So I am confident that it will be distributed evenly.
Okay. Okay. Now, the governors elected on the platform of the opposition People's Democratic Party have advised President Bola Tinubu and the ruling All Progressive Congress to resign over the state of the nation if they cannot provide sustainable solutions. The opposition governors said the buck ultimately stops at Tinubu's table as the Chief Executive Officer of Nigeria, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation, the Chief Salesman, and the leader of Nigeria. The governors, under the aegis of the PDP's Governors Forum, said the hardship and suffering being experienced by Nigeria have no tribal, religious or party coloration, adding that APC sought power to solve Nigerians' problem, not to compound them or shift blame, or grandstand or use propaganda to confuse the issues. The PDP Governors Forum made the fresh call in a statement signed by its Director General, Honorable CID Madu Abum, on Saturday as a response to the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, who lampooned the PDP governors for earlier comparing Nigeria to Venezuela over the state of the country. The minister had said the PDG governors' comment was laced with mischief, as most of them had defaulted in the payment of minimum wage, gratuities and pensions in their state. But the PDP governors in the response told the APC-led government that it sought power to solve the problems of Nigeria, not to compound them or shift blame or grandstand or use propaganda to obfuscate or confuse the issues. Hardship and suffering being faced by Nigerians have no tribal, religious or party coloration. A hungry man is an angry man. While all tiers of government have a role to play, the APC-led federal government has a disproportionate role to play in mobilizing Nigerians and all organs and tiers of the government for sustainable solutions. If it cannot do so or is unable to do so, it should graciously throw in the towel. Attempts made by the Honorable Minister of Information, APC Governors Forum, and other officials of the federal government who criticized the PDP Governors Forum for their patriotic intervention should be guided by the fact that the APC sought power to solve the problems of Nigeria, not to compound them or shift blame or grandstand or use propaganda to obfuscate or confuse issues. The governors further said that states which they govern are comparatively the best in Nigeria in terms of developmental policies, programs, and projects that will benefit their states positively and regulate regular payment of salaries, pensions, gratuities, and minimum. State governments that are delinquent on these issues are not of PDP extraction, it is false to say so. Even the food crisis are exacerbated by insecurity and high exchange rate issues, among others, which are largely federal subjects. The PDP governors, as the stakeholders in the governance, would continue to work collaboratively with Mr. President to find long-lasting solutions to a very difficult situation created or exacerbated by the APC since 2015. We believe in cooperative federalism. Now, this is PDP governors coming out to tell President Bola Tinubu, if you are overwhelmed, resign. Now, in recent time, it has been back and forth between the PDP Governors Forum and the government. Now, they are telling President, if you're overwhelmed, resign. But then, when you backtrack, during the time of PDP-led government by Jonathan administration, there was so much cry out about insecurity and corruption. In fact, corruption was on the high at that point, and it was so glaring. Now, PDP governors are coming out to tell the president that he's not doing enough. But then APC took over from PDP. And the issues the country has can be traced back to PDP. So do you think this is a fair statement coming from PDP governors?
To me, it's not a fair statement coming from PDP governors at the moment. Because the Renew Hope agenda of the federal government led by the APC is just less than 1 year in power. I know it's unfortunate that 16 years of the PDP, Nigerians were complaining of corruption. Now, it now boils down to, when we were given the opportunity, how did we manage the resources of the people? We were entrusted with the resources of the people, their lives and their properties. So you ask yourself, how did we manage? That's the truth. I'm a member of the PDP. In my ward, I'm a chieftain of the PDP. But I always tell ourselves, I tell them the truth. How did we manage? So if the APC is in power for 8 years, and being 8 years in power, which I know that the Buhari regime failed, this government in power today is less than 1 year in power. So we should give him time, which I strongly believe that those things he did in Lagos may very soon be translated in Nigeria.
Well, don't you think Lagos is an entirely different story, because that's just a state? Nigeria is an entire federation.
Lagos is not just a state. Lagos is a colony.
It's a colony.
Yes. Lagos is...
You cannot compare ruling Lagos with ruling Nigeria.
We can compare.
There are situations, the situations in Lagos is quite different.
Are you aware that there is no tribe in this country that is not in Lagos?
The insecurity being faced in the northeast, in different parts of the country.
Okay, ever since
the Lagos?
Ever since
the political solutions that you give
let me come in here.
In the
ever since he became
Ever
since he became president, how many times have you heard about the Boko Haram crisis?
Ever since he became president,
yes,
insecurity has been on the rise.
It has not been on the rise.
Has it been on the rise or not?
It hasn't been on the rise.
It has. Now, the truth is hold on, Mr. Prince.
No, the truth is the Tinubu-led government is performing exceedingly well. Nigerians should give
what
it time.
Variables did you use in arriving at
good? There are areas in this country that wasn't habitable during Buhari's government, but today people have returned to those areas.
Like
part of Bruno, part of Yobe, in Sokoto State. I grew up in Sokoto State. Till date, my father resides in Sokoto State. Yes. Almost half part of my education was in Sokoto State. I know when 7 local government areas were deserted in Sokoto under Buhari.
Now, why has there been increased kidnappings, especially in
today,
the FCT?
4 local governments in FCT.
Yes.
Okay, and where there was increase of insecurity in the FCT minister, E.N. Wike, took drastic measures. And the moment he came in, those measures were deployed. And today we have good results all around.
We have good results.
We have good results, yes.
In kidnappings and insecurity.
Kidnappers have been arrested. There are areas where they were keeping people was invaded. We saw the videos, we saw the pictures. It was all over the news, which I believe this network news has also carried it. So today in Abuja, insecurity is at the most lowest rate.
Okay, now back to the PDP Governors Forum.
The PDP governors, what I will say is this. How far have you, as a governor, been able to resolve economic issues in your own states? Not just other issues, economic issues in your own states. We know that there is this indication that possibly the country may snowball into famine. Now, you as the governor of your state, what measures have you put in place? Like in Rivers State today, as I speak, no measures have been put in place by the government of Rivers State. No measures. The other day, we saw pictures and videos of him visiting some guy farm. And since then, nothing has happened. Does that mean that some governors just want to talk to score cheap political points?
Now, still on the issue of their criticism of the president being fair or unfair, the president recently called an extraordinary meeting, emergency meeting with the 36 states governors to discuss issues around the hunger crisis and insecurity. And this is coming on the heels of that meeting. Does that mean that the PDP governors are unable to work in synergy with the government, the federal government as it were, to make sure that this country goes forward? Isn't this a clear distraction to governance?
It's a clear distraction to governance, because after the election is governance. Now we are in governance.
What do you propose
as a member? For example, now as a governor of the state, you're no longer PDP governor. If you're an APC governor, you're not an APC governor. You are a governor, you are a father of the state.
Okay.
So we shouldn't be playing these obsolete politics in this country. When it's time for governance, let everybody join hands with the federal government, and most especially the federal government led by Tinubu, who is not only an astute politician, but also a businessman.
But then, apart from the PDP governors, other stakeholders are crying out. People are speaking out.
Who are those speaking out?
Are you not in Nigeria, sir?
I am in Nigeria.
Stakeholders are crying out. Let's use Femi Falana as an example. He has been very, very, very vocal about the policies, about the effects of the policies on the masses. Now, let me give you one example.
Falana is only vocal now against the government of the APC at the federal level, because he was seeking for an appointment and they didn't give him.
Well, we are not.
So is that why?
We are not aware of that.
I am aware of that.
That is an allegation.
It's not an allegation.
It is.
There are facts to that.
You are alleging that on national TV.
Yes.
Can you bring proof of that?
Yes.
Can you bring proof of that? Anyway, you see, moving away from
people,
that, I wanted to bring in the
Nigerians should learn to understand that when it comes to governance,
now, why is
president
it that
cannot
when someone
do it alone?
is vocal against a government, issues are being brought up to question the person's intentions or to reduce the person's credibility?
Because in most cases, there are always hidden intentions.
Sorry.
There are always hidden intentions, which we know. You know, one thing is this: as politicians, when someone makes a statement, we don't just target a political statement. But what we do, we study the statements. If you study the statement and look into it critically, you will see undertone of hidden intentions in the statement.
Okay, let me give you an instance. There are concerns around what the government appears to prioritize currently. For example, the pilgrimage.
No, the government is not prioritizing pilgrimage.
Really? Why do you say that?
It's a policy of government that has been in place.
To the tune of how many billion?
And then let's come to this.
Yes.
Are you aware that aside from the meeting that the president had with governors and the meetings he had with key stakeholders, there was also a committee set up that the chief of staff to the president is presiding over and heading that committee. So if you think the president is doing nothing,
you still have not answered the Hajj pilgrimage.
The Hajj pilgrimage and pilgrimage to...
You said it's necessary.
The pilgrimage?
Yes.
It's necessary.
Okay.
Yes, it's necessary.
Okay.
It's a policy of government. You said something. Yes, you said something here that religion has always been part of politics.
And you said it shouldn't be so.
I say it shouldn't be so, but these are policies of government.
Which is acceptable.
It's acceptable because it is something that has gone...
Said religion should not be part of politics.
Good.
Now you're also saying that this is an acceptable policy, even though it has to do with religion.
Yes. Why is it acceptable policy now? Because this thing has passed through this Federal House of Assembly.
Let's look at
it. Also passed through the Senate, and it was approved.
Let's bring it home to the current economic reality.
Okay.
Nigeria is suffering serious economic crisis. Nigeria is suffering serious hunger crisis and food insecurity.
Yes.
Our dollar is yet to be stable. Insecurity is also a major concern. Now, there is so much hunger in the land that...
Which is caused by insecurity.
Prince Leke, hold on. There is so much hunger in the land that protests are erupting. Now, there is a Hajj pilgrimage coming up, and the president is bringing out 72 billion naira, dollars, as the case may be.
No, it's naira.
Naira. But when it comes to palliative for states, he's bringing out 75 billion naira.
Good.
How do you balance that? Now, one of the things that stakeholders have called out is reduce the cost of governance. Strike out unnecessary policies. Strike out unnecessary expenditure as it stands. The Nigerians, in the same breath, the president, in the face of the economic crisis, also a supplementary budget of 1.2 trillion naira was approved for security, for luxury vehicles for the office of the First Lady and for the president, as the case may be. Are these necessary expenditures? Doesn't this clearly show what the priorities are in face of the crisis we are facing.
One thing I want Nigerians to understand is the reason why we are facing food insecurity today is because of the insecurity that has been prevailing over time,
okay,
and wasn't checked. This insecurity didn't start today. Under Jonathan as president, Chibok girls, what happened? They were kidnapped. Aside from that, communities that were agricultural communities were deserted. Farmers, most especially in Benue State, farmers could no longer go to farm because of farmers and herders crisis, herdsmen crisis. Why didn't government intervene all those times? Now look at last administration of Buhari for 8 good years. He could not intervene to stop all these crises in various states. And if you observe, it looks like what is happening was planned and targeted at local governments, states, and regions that produces food for Nigeria. Now the president is less than 1 year in office. Budget has been passed, and he is working on ending insecurity in the country, to see that in those communities that were deserted, people could return, and when they return, people will farm. So I believe that there will be bumper harvest in the next season. If we had failed under 8 years of Buhari, I know that subsequently we will readdress those areas, and there will be bumper harvest under the administration.
I still want you to come
of
down
now when it comes to the money, good.
Yeah, and the what the government considers a priority.
No,
in
they no.
expenditure.
Tinubu doesn't consider cars as priorities.
I just reeled out the budgets for you.
In the
what
budget,
allocation has gone to what?
Good. 75 billion has gone for palliative.
And 72 billion has
72
gone for
billion.
a religious journey.
Then how much has gone to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture?
The question here is this. In face of the crisis, food crisis that
but
is
before
going
the
on,
crisis,
was the 72 billion naira for Hajj pilgrimage, is it necessary at this point in time?
It is necessary because
Nigerians
yes,
are crying out.
because they have made it necessary. Like what I said I don't see religion as what should be allowed to play a role in politics. But it's unfortunate that in this country they have prioritized religion even above national service. So if such money has been allocated, didn't it pass through the House of Reps?
Now let me ask,
didn't it pass through the Senate?
Let me ask you another question.
Those that are representing us, are they not there?
72 billion for pilgrimage as a 75 billion for pilgrimage as against 72 billion.
No, 72 billion for pilgrimage.
As against 75 billion for
palliative.
Side by side, how fair is that to the Nigerian masses who are hungry?
It's very fair.
Prince Leke, 72 billion naira
and
for a religious journey.
A religious journey.
And 75 billion naira.
Will the journey not add value to our economy?
Hold on.
No, hold on.
70.
Will the journey?
Now, tell me the economic benefits of the Hajj pilgrimage.
Of the Hajj pilgrimage.
Yes, I want to know.
Beautiful. Are you aware that we have airlines that pay tax in this country? The airlines that they will board, are they not in this country? Don't they pay tax? Where they park their planes, don't they pay tax? So you see, in one way or the other.
So now, the airlines they will board and the tax they will pay will be above 72 billion naira cumulatively.
Have you calculated it?
No, I'm asking you. You are telling me the economic benefits. So I want to educate me. I'm still waiting to understand that mathematics.
Are you also aware that most Nigerians, when they go on Hajj in Mecca and Medina, they buy materials They buy goods and bring into the country.
They spend.
They don't spend. They bring material.
You know where this...
It's not just spending.
If people were coming from other parts of the world into Nigeria for this pilgrimage, and the government is churning out this amount of money, I will understand. Then, Nigerians may understand, because
are you aware that at this point, hold on, traveling to Mecca adds value to our tourism sector?
Because at this point, it is considered that 72 billion naira will be considered a capital and a business that will yield more. But Nigeria, that 72 billion naira goes in as expenditure.
And there are returns.
Not as capital investment.
There are always returns.
You need to understand that, Prince.
No, there are always returns.
I have also asked you, in face of the hunger in the country, in face of the protests going on everywhere,
but the governor,
you watched the video of people who were hungry, hijacked free tubers of yam, also of men and women who were being flogged to fall into line to collect 100 naira bread each. That was the most dehumanizing I have ever seen Nigeria.
But that's an old video. It's an old video.
Hold on. The free tubers of yam is also a current video.
No, the tubers of yam is a current video.
Is that a sign?
The beating of women to line is not.
The free tubers of yam, is that a clear sign of hunger?
It's not a clear sign of hunger. It is not.
Do you agree that Nigeria has a hunger crisis?
Okay, hold on. No, are you telling me?
Do you agree?
No, I agree that
you also said on this show that Nigeria is fast snowballing into famine.
Yes.
Now, you have already made clear statements to that effect. That's why I'm asking.
What I am saying
now,
here is the federal government has put measures in place. That's my point.
What are the measures, sir?
Good. Are you aware that over 3 million families are receiving palliatives money every month in this country?
Every month. Do you have proof to that?
There is proof.
Ghost families or real families?
Real families.
You have proof to
yes.
that?
Yes. I have good. I will show you. I have downtrodens in my ward, in my village, that are receiving. And I know people that when they receive, today, they have started business. Some are also into farming, and some are also into agro business.
Now, when you talk about this, are you speaking from a point of monthly income from the federal government, or let's boil down to another policy?
That's what I'm telling you. That
government,
good,
of the federal government, that perhaps the Hajj money would have gone into funding, and that's the student loan. Now, in recent times, hold on,
the student loan has been
the government, as at December, when they were pushing for the supplement for the appropriation bill, spoke about education and spoke about students loan, especially in face of massive outcry with regards to increments in school fees.
Yes.
Right?
And that's a good measure taken by the federal government.
It was applaudable. It was applaudable. Still is applaudable. Now, the question is, up until now, it has not taken effect. Prince Leke.
Then are you aware that there has been a date slated for it to kick?
Up until now, I am talking about the priority of the government. Up until now, it has not taken effect. Yet,
are you aware that there's a reason why it has not taken effect?
The government has approved money
are you aware,
for Hajj pilgrimage.
Are you aware of the reasons why it has not taken effect?
Are these reasons the reasons that, whatever reasons that might be the reason why it has not taken effect, can it not be handled and actions expedited? Because school has started.
Good. The reasons why it was delayed is because of university lecturers, vice chancellors, ASU. They came up. They say, oh, federal government is looking for a way to dry up the accounts of the universities, denying them access to funds early. Now, if you should allege or accuse the federal government of working to deny universities funding, why would that same federal government come up with policies and say, look, if this student, instead of you, the vice chancellor or the senate of the university, to have sack the student that, okay, come, since you don't have school fees to pay, you will not write exam. Federal government is now making funding. Say, take this money for this particular student, let him write exams and graduate.
The monies have not been made available.
The monies are available. The reason that was the reason why it was delayed.
Have started assessing these loans?
They will start assessing the loan by late this month.
The question is, have they started assessing the loans?
They will assess the loan. A date has been slated for that.
They have not assessed it
but
yet.
a date, excuse me,
sorry,
a date has been slated for that.
But the thing is, the students are yet to assess the loans.
The thing is the federal government doing something or not? That's the thing.
Let me rephrase the question. Why is the federal government expediting actions on issues like Hajj pilgrimage, releasing funds for that?
Didn't the same Didn't the same federal government hold on, when there was signs of hunger, didn't that same federal government expedite action on releasing palliatives to Nigerians?
When was palliative released?
I am defending the yes.
billion naira for Hajj pilgrimage.
Yes.
In face of harsh economics.
What are the governors doing?
Crisis.
No, hold on. What are the governors doing?
72 billion naira was not released by the governor. It was released by the federal government.
Now the fact has increased. What are they doing?
This particular conversation is not around the governors. I want us to compartmentalize the discussion. The conversation is around what the federal government in this case prioritizes. I am not talking about
the federal government is prioritizing the welfare of the people of Nigeria more than the Hajj you are even alleging.
I am not talking about how the governors, the state governors, are disbursing or they are making use of increased allocation. That's not the conversation right now. We'll still come back to that, like I've said earlier. But what I am asking is this: you have agreed that times are hard.
Yes.
And you have agreed that we are snowballing into famine. But in the same breath, you are also saying times were hard before Tinubu came.
Yes.
Everybody agrees to that. But the question is, like I have said, when Tinubu came in, subsidy was removed. Times were hard. The dollar skyrocketed. A lot of things were out of control. And we understand that a lot of policies that have been taken by the previous government, you know, the dividends are now, this is the current reality of those things. Now, the president comes in with a renewed hope agenda and with the hope of fixing the economy.
Which he is fixing.
And that was why people voted for him to fix the economy.
Good. Now, and which he is fixing.
There is no question as to whether he's fixing the economy or not. I want to clarify that.
He is fixing the economy.
There is no question to that. The question is, what priorities, what are the priorities of the government, even though the government is making efforts to fix the economy? I have also told you, Nigeria is
federal government.
Our budget is in trillions deficit, right?
Yeah.
Trillions in deficit.
Yes, it's in deficit.
And when you break down the budget per Nigerian, it's not up to $100 per Nigerian. That already keeps us under poverty level, right? Now, in face of that deficit budget, we plan for our country on pure speculations. Dollar will be at 700 naira by January. We'll be producing so and so number of crude oil, you know, and all of that. Everything was based on projections,
no, it was projection.
Which did not happen, and the projections did not happen. That's a fact. Now,
in economics,
in face of all of that,
hold on.
In face of all of that,
in economics, projections sometimes fails.
That's acceptable. But in the face of all of that, right? What I am looking at is government expenditure and the cost of governance, and from their expenditure, what the government considers important. I have talked about the school students loan, and as at this point, it has not been expedited yet. You said there are reasons, and I said, however, Hajj has been expedited. I also
Hajj
told
wasn't
you,
expedited.
I have also told you.
No. See,
hold on.
I want to understand
you
something.
can correct when I'm done. I also told you that 72 billion naira was given out for palliative to states. But for Hajj, sorry, $75 billion naira was given out to states for palliative, but for Hajj it's 72 billion. How do you spend 72 billion naira for a religious journey of few days? And you're looking at hungry Nigerians. People are committing suicide. People are slumping by the roadside. People are, the cost of a bag of gari is over 75,000 naira. That is almost twice, over twice minimum wage in the country. And you're telling me, I want you to make sense of this quickly because we are out of time.
All right. Let me correct you on this.
Please do.
Good. The federal government, led by Tinubu, prioritized education, food security,
what's the budget for education?
And even prioritizes our energy sector more than the Hajj you are hampering on.
Really?
Yes.
How do they prioritize the energy sector? Electricity, by the way.
Electricity.
Let's come down to electricity.
Yes, that's the energy sector.
You are aware that the federal government will stop paying subsidy on electricity?
Yes.
And you are aware that electricity tariff was increased this year?
Were we supposed to be
and
paying
the federal government will stop paying
tariff?
Stop paying subsidy.
We're supposed to be paying subsidy on electricity?
The federal government will stop paying subsidy on electricity. In the same breath, the electricity tariff was increased. What it means, and not just has it been increased, but now power supply is at a zero, affecting the already struggling businesses of small, medium enterprises, as the case may be. Businesses are running at a loss, paying higher tariffs, and not getting value for monies being paid for. Now, and that's on the other hand, federal government also increased custom duties. What it means by extension is that custom duties are now far more expensive. It was increased from 900 naira per dollar to 1,400 naira per dollar. What it means is already cost of things are high because of dollar volatility. By the implication of the increment in custom duties, products that you would ordinarily buy at 1,400, you'll be buying them at 2,300. Now, these are policies that have also been put in place. Why I can understand that the
which they are good policies.
Why I can understand that the government is trying to generate revenue.
Do you agree that there are good policies?
But it's killing Nigerians.
Nigerians should fall back.
Nigerians is reducing purchasing power.
Good. No, hold on.
How does reduction of purchasing power affect the economy?
Nigerians should fall back. Good. They should fall back to consuming our homemade products. How much
is a bag of locally made rice? Locally made rice is 77,000 naira.
What is affecting locally made rice is people still smuggling foreign rice into the country.
A bag of locally produced beans.
Nigerians should
3 times the price before.
Nigerians should focus on using Nigerian-made fabrics.
I just gave you instances.
The instances are because
all the prices are higher. The prices of food in the market is above what they
Yes, because we prioritize going out to purchase foreign-made products.
I am talking about locally made food items.
It is the same. It is dollar is affecting the locally made. Food items and the locally made products in the country.
The dollar is affecting them because of cost of production.
Not just cost of production.
So how is it affecting them?
Good. Nigerians, if they stop procuring foreign goods, excuse me.
Sorry.
I strongly believe that the prices of our products will reduce. Now, if you say the cost of production has increased, it is because we still prioritize foreign products over our locally made products.
Nigerians are now prioritizing locally made products.
Very few.
No.
Very few.
For local rice, for example.
Are you aware that Nigerians...
That's what everybody is eating. Most Nigerians are eating locally made food.
Are you aware that Nigeria...
Our food, Gary, for example...
Let me tell you what happened.
There was a time you could buy a plate of 500. Now it's over 2,000 naira.
Let me inform you. Are you aware that Nigerians are smuggling rice abroad and overseas? Or locally made rice? So why will you smuggle your own locally made products which is not sufficient, excuse me, which is not even sufficient for a Nigerian market, you now export it to other countries because you see that their naira, their currency is above naira at the moment. So you sell them and you use the money to buy foreign goods into the country. Why?
We are talking about the everyday Nigerian on the street.
The
widow with 3 children.
Yes.
The single mother with a child.
It is that same
the
thing.
Man that earns minimum wage.
Yes, it is that same activity that is happening on our borders that trickles down.
Afford Gary.
That trickles down to those in the grassroots in the country. So, permit me to say this. I want to advise the federal government.
Okay.
The federal government should improve border security.
Okay.
Yes, they should improve border securities and even put a ban on our locally made goods or products being exported at the moment.
Don't you think export is also a means of generating revenue for the country? Now that the country is desperately in need.
The country is not. No, the country is not. It's not desperately in need. And even at that, the country is not in desperate mood.
So we are rich.
We have always been rich.
And we line the budget on credit.
We didn't just line the budget on credit. So it was based on projections that failed.
When budget is in deficit, what does it mean?
Not just that. It is there were projections. No. There were projections.
Projections on how to generate revenue. But when budget is in deficit, what does it mean?
Can I say there were projections?
Prince Leke, when budget is in deficit, what does it mean?
I said there was projection.
Projection is.
If the projection failed.
Okay, Prince Leke. Sorry, we are out of time, and that's how we can take on today's episode of Open Air. You can always catch up with us and stay connected to us on all Atlantic Television Network socials. On Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, on YouTube and Facebook, Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Don't go away. We have more interesting programs for you. See you at the same time on Sunday.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
The POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
As always said, there are 2 sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the daunting. Who can come and salvage us from